Hello guys, what's up? In today's chess video, I would love to share with you all a deadly trap in the Italian game from the white side. This will not only allow you to crush your opponent but also win in style with this simple moves. Let's get started. So it starts with e4. A normal response is e5. We play a knight to f3, attacking the e5 pawn, and he defends it by knight to c6. Now bishop c4. There are two ideas here which he can do knight f6 or c5. Doesn't matter, it transposes to the same position. We'll see bishop c5, we go knight c3, and after knight f6 we play our pawn to d3. We wait for him until he castles. Once he castles, now we go with the bishop to g5, trying to pin the knight to the queen, and the later idea is play knight d5 and take advantage of this pinned piece. Here, black doesn't like the pin, so he would play his pawn to h6, trying to push our bishop back. Mostly white players here, what they do is either they capture the knight or they are going to go back with the bishop, trying to maintain the pin along the diagonal. But you will play the pawn to h4. Now here, if he doesn't capture, he's annoyed by the pin, right? If black doesn't capture, he's annoyed by the pin, and later you're going to take advantage by playing knight d5 and destruct his kingside. So it is kind of forced for him to capture the bishop. Once he captures the bishop, we capture it back. Now why have we done that? Because now we are opening up this edge file for our rook to attack along his king side. And what all you need to do is just get your queen on the edge file somewhere and give a checkmate on h7 or h8 square. Here, since his knight is in danger, he can either go with his knight to g4 or knight to h7. In this video, we are going to have a look at both of these variations. Let's start with the aggressive knight to g4. After knight g4, we can take advantage of the pin further and just play our pawn to g6. Pawn g6, the bishop is along this diagonal, so the pawn on f7 cannot move and capture. What instead black has is a fantastic tactical idea, knight to f2. He is kind of forking our queen and the rook. But we ignore the threat and we go with the sneaky move, knight to e5. Now knight e5, the idea is simple, to go queen h5 and either give a checkmate on h7 or h8, and also the e5 knight attacks the pawn on f7. Now the pawn on f7 is under attack thrice with the pawn, bishop as well as the knight. Black is kind of forced to capture our queen. He does that. Now we capture on the f7 square, give a check. The king cannot go on h7 or h8 because of your rook, so he's forced to give away his rook. He captures the pawn with the rook and we capture it back with the bishop, giving a check. The king has only option to go to f8 and then rook h8 check. Again, the only option for the king is to go on e7. And then we bring the other pieces in the game. We get the knight on the d5 square, giving a check. Here you don't actually need to capture the queen, while you can just give a checkmate. The king has only again one option to go is on d6, and then knight c4 is a beautiful end of the game. We have harassed our opponent king, bringing him in the center, and gave a checkmate using our three minor pieces. Isn't this interesting? Now let's get back to the position where if he is not going to g4, rather he chooses to go on the h7 square. After the move knight h7, this is most commonly played by the black players. We go with the same move, pawn g6. Now this time attacking the knight as well as the f7 pawn. The knight can come back on the f6 square, and then our idea was again to go on the h file and give an attack. We go with a knight to g5. Now knight on g5 gives an attack to f7 square, also opens up the diagonal for your queen to jump on the h file. If he blocks this attack on the f7 square with his pawn to d5, trying to block the attack from the bishop, we can simply capture the pawn with our bishop, go bishop d5, attacking the f7 pawn again. If he captures our bishop, then we have a beautiful idea. Sacrifice the rook, rook h8, and then queen h5, queen h7 leads to a checkmate. Isn't this interesting? Now, if you are an intermediate or advanced player, I have a question for you. What happens if we do not go rook h8 directly, instead just white plays his queen to h5? Now this is not winning for white. Can you find the best move here for black? Take your time, think in this position, and comment down your answers in the chat box. I will see you guys again in the next video with more such amazing opening traps. Till the time, stay tuned, please hit the like button.